Okay, I've reviewed a handful of calorie tracking apps lately, and I went to Jeff Nippard's MacroFactor app expecting to hate it. But there is one feature in this app that I haven't seen anywhere else. And honestly, it might actually justify the $100 price tag. Because here's the thing, MacroFactor promises to build you a custom diet plan to crush your goals, whether you're trying to get shredded or bulk up. And it's backed by science-driven tools that adapt to your body, claiming to be the smartest diet coach you'll ever need, and maybe potentially the only dieting app that you'll ever need. So today, we're putting it to the test. Let's get right into it. So right away when you download the app, you're greeted by the onboarding questionnaire, basically very similar to the MacroFactor workouts app, which I've already reviewed, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already. Now, it's going to ask you a ton of personal questions about who you are and what your goals are, so it can build a nutrition plan that actually matches you. And honestly, this part was actually quite nice because it's going to ask you basic questions like whether you want to lose or gain weight, but it does go a step further and ask you what kind of diet that you prefer. So things that are based on your protein intake and how much training you're into will all be factored into your custom diet plan. Now, what surprised me, but honestly kind of didn't, is that the MacroFactor's macro tracker app is also the same as a MacroFactor workouts app where it's completely paid. So there is no free version. All you get is a 14 or 7-day trial, which is what I'll be using to test this app for you guys. So this is what the dashboard is going to look like. It's clean, it's minimal, and the UI is ultra smooth. The kind of UI that almost makes you forget you're paying $100 a year for it. Almost. Let's break it down. So at the top, you get the weekly nutrition chart. This is a color graphic showing the calories you've consumed, plus your protein, fats, and carbs. Swipe over once and you get an energy balance, how many calories you consume compared to your target. Swipe one more over and you get a daily nutrition chart. Basically, it's another way to view your macros. Now, if you scroll down, you'll find some basic widgets. Your weight trend, if you have a smart cell connected to your Apple Health, a dot habit tracker for your food logging and weigh-in streaks, more macro charts, and a steps bar graph at the bottom. Now, if you don't like the layout or maybe you don't like a certain widget, you can also fully customize and rearrange everything, which is a nice touch. Next up is the food logging section, which is probably the most important part of this app. So this is basically a full timeline of all the food that you've logged in throughout the day. All you need to do is hit the plus button next to the hour, and then you can basically log in exactly what you've eaten for that time of the day. Now, personally, I don't think it's as important as when you ate something as is important as what you ate that day. But my guess is that it's there to help the app figure out what your metabolism is like over time. Okay, now this is the shortcuts menu, and this is the most important part of the app because this is what you'll be using mostly when you're interacting with the app. And I've got to say, I didn't love it. So you've got multiple ways to log your food. You can search for it, scan the barcode, describe it to AI, take a photo of it, or use Quick Add to enter calories, protein, fats, and carbs manually. Now, here's the thing. None of it is new. In my opinion, almost every other calorie tracking app already has this feature included. Now, what is slightly different is that you can also add in your bicep measurements or your thigh measurements or any other body measurements that you also want to measure. Now, I'm gonna save my final thoughts for the end of this video, but what I do want to mention is that I was underwhelmed by how basic the food logging experience was. But when you log a food item, you have to click and tap the add button 3 times before it actually logs, which in my opinion is kind of inconvenient. By the way, liking this video only takes 1 tap, same with subscribing, so if you haven't already, make sure you do that. And drop your current calorie tracking app in the comments below. It gives me a reason to continue making these for you guys. Next is the strategy tab. So this is where you see a visual of your coach program, your macro targets, your weight loss goal, and your goal history. Nothing crazy here, but what is nice is you can edit your program whenever you want. So if your goals shift mid-program, you're not locked in, which is a huge win. Lastly, we have the more section. This is where you can tinker with settings and integrations. I have mine set to Apple Health, but you can also connect to Fitbit if you own one. But here's the most surprising feature that I mentioned early on, and it's actually this Siri feature. So you can literally tell Siri to log your food, say something like MacroFactor quick add calories or log water, and just tell it how many calories or how much water you had. It logs it automatically. Now, it's not groundbreaking, but I do feel like calorie tracking should be very simple and convenient and easy to do. And honestly, this little feature makes logging meals just that much more unobtrusive and easier for the user. So is Jeff Nippard's MacroFactor macro tracker app actually worth it? So Jeff Nippard is known for being science-based in everything he does, and this app is absolutely no exception. But when it comes to value for features, I find it underwhelming. And in my opinion, it doesn't make the food logging experience any different than other apps that are already doing the same type of things. But there is one feature that I teased at the start that does make this app different from the rest, and it's the expenditure graph. So in MacroFactor, expenditure represents your estimated total daily energy expenditure, your TDEE, the total calories your body burns per day. Now, this isn't a feature that I've seen on other dieting apps, and MacroFactor actually utilizes this graph to further optimize your coaching algorithm and make a better diet plan for your goals. So the question is, does that one feature actually mean that it's worth $100 per year? Now, honestly, it's cool. It can definitely be useful, but cool and useful doesn't mean it's actually worth $100. Especially when the rest of the app kind of feels like every other dieting app out there. So for me personally, I don't see myself using this app just because it's a little too expensive for what it offers. And honestly, for me and maybe most people, a calorie tracking app kind of like Bevel, which is completely free, would totally get the job done for most. And in terms of the TDEE, if you already have a fitness wearable or a fitness tracker, it should be pretty easy for you to figure out exactly how many calories you burn throughout the day. And all you need to do is really just track out how many calories you consume throughout the day to go into a caloric deficit or a caloric gain. But just because it's not for me, it doesn't mean it's not for you. If you want a dieting app that takes all the thinking out for you, this app is definitely for you. And if you already own the MacroFactor workout app, I think for $100 for the annual subscription, you get both of them. So in terms of that value, it could be completely worth it for you. Now, just remember, just because you own the app, it doesn't mean you're actually going to lose weight. At the end of the day, you're making the choices and you're making the decisions. The app is the only thing that's going to help you make these smarter decisions. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out my other videos on wellness apps and fitness apps. I would not want you to miss out on it, and I'm sure that you'll find some value out of it as well. We do everything fitness, tech, and lifestyle here, and we would not want you to miss out on any of it. With that being said, catch you guys on the next one. Peace.